Alright, you can see the truck's together. Mess is all cleaned up around it. It's sitting on the jack stand because I've got to air up this tire. We've got it to idle. I played with the carburetor quite a bit, and I'll go into more detail on that here in a minute. But we played around with it and got it to idle. AFRs are like between 10.8, 11.6. It's still real rich. The mixture screws are only out a half a turn for the idle mixture. And like I said, it's got a 86 jet in the front, it's got a 90 in the back. Now yes, I could jet it down. Here's the whole thing. When all this stuff started on the carburetor, my son, as you know, has helped immensely build this truck. The first time it was more support and help, and this time around, financially, he's got almost as much in it as I do. Okay, he said, Dad, we'll build yours, and then we'll build mine. Okay, and we've already started accumulating parts for his. We've got a Dart little in block. We've got the crank, the rods, pistons, heads, transmission. We've been accumulating parts as well on it, for it, as we've been doing this. We got the truck, and as soon as we get done with this one, which is, we're about to the end of the road with it for now, we're going to start doing videos on his. And his is a round body. Now the thing is, with this carburetor, yes, I went and bought this because I thought, honestly, I could make it work. Okay? I wanted a black carburetor is one thing. And when you've spent this much money and done everything, as you can see, it's either black or aluminum. And the only reason these are blue is because actually the trim color for this truck is electric blue. That's the stripe I had on it and everything. So that's what I went with, the blue boots. And this one was the only way I could find it was in black. Nobody else had one. 3.5 to 3 in a 60-degree angle. But when I bought this carburetor, this is like the top of the line Quick Fuel makes as far as the blow through. It's the black diamond. It's got the chemical coating. It's got the billet metering blocks. You know, everything else is cast. I think it does. It might have a billet center section. I know it's got a billet base plate. The holes down here are actually slotted, which was weird. I've never seen a carburetor with the holes slotted. But I thought, you know what, I could make it work. And why I went with this, and the whole honest deal is because I could have it in 3 or 4 days, where with CSU, he was talking, you know, a 9 to 12 week waiting period. I didn't want to wait. I wanted something so I could play with the truck now. If I could get it where it could run half-assed, you know, there's a difference between building something like this and hearing it run, and then it just sitting and looking at it, wishing it would run. Okay? That was the whole object behind this. I wanted to order one. I left it up to my son. He did research. And research, and we went through IRD to get the carburetor. Talked to John 3-4 times. I did. He sends the invoice after they do the workup sheet, sends it over. They emailed me invoice. I paid it. It was $1,500. He don't charge for shipping or nothing. Black, all billet. If you want to see one, go over and look at Street Race Channel. Billy and his dad ordered one, and they show them unboxing it. Nice piece. Okay? I have nothing against Kevin, but I wanted a black carburetor. Okay? And you don't call yourself the king of carburetors if you're not the king of carburetors. Just like my machine shop is not called Built Right Engines, you don't name yourself that kind of stuff if you don't do it right. But I come out here and I played with it. Now, as far as carburetors, NA, nitrous, I can play with them all day long. But I went in, and what I ended up doing was I jetted it down. Basically, I jetted it down to what a regular double pumper 850 Quick Fuel would be, which I jetted it clear down. It's got a 76 in the front, and it's got an 84 in the back now. That helped. It quit belching black smoke like a damn diesel. The idle screw on this evident when I got it was backed way out to the point it was actually touching the part of the throttle down here was touching the carburetor body. It took like 5 or 6 turns to get it where it would get up where it would even begin to idle. I've got it idling at 1,000. That's where this likes to idle. That's where it likes to idle NA. Okay. We're creeping up on it. I plan on taking it out maybe either tomorrow or Sunday, depending on the weather, depending on the grandson. My wife's home half a day on Sundays now, so I can get it out. She can watch the grandson. I can at least get it out and drive around the block and play with it and see if we can get it tuned, dialed in. But we do have an IRD blow-through carburetor coming for this. I told you I'd bought a set of Kaiser bead locks for the back of this, which they should be here about, they told me about first part mid-April. I went ahead and ordered the fronts to match the backs. They're Kaiser, they Veriband or Veribond, whatever you pronounce it. Wheels, black with the machine center. I'm going to take these off and give these to my boy, so he's got something to play with. He said, no, Dad, keep them and use them for when you take it out on the street. So I'm going to take these off, put them on the new wheels, put slicks on the new wheels, and then I'm going to put a set of radial front runners on here for street use. We let it sit out here the other day when we were playing around with the idle. It run for probably 40 minutes. In 40 minutes, I never had to turn the fans on. I just turned the water pump on to circulate coolant. And yeah, I run antifreeze and water in it, 60-40 mix. So I do that because I'm not going to depend on the heater to keep my shop warm in the winter, and say the power goes out and shit freezes and busts the block because it's got water in it, water wetter or whatever. I don't do that. I'll run antifreeze. If I take it to the track, I can dump the antifreeze out of it in about 15 minutes and fill it full of water. Now, while we're working on my boy's truck, I'm going to start doing some things on this to finish it up. One of them is get the halo bar, the down bars, and the bar that goes across here in. I'm not putting anything in here because I have a little Kirky seat that I bought for my grandson. And I got a deal that mounts on these two mounts and bolts that seat in there. And it's got its own little harness and everything. So if he wants to ride along, go get ice cream or something, he's got his own little seat. He's in the middle, he's safe. And that little seat was damn near as much as a big person seat. And it's no quieter at all. It's not any quieter to me. The turbos didn't muffle anything really. I've got to get me a bezel here. The only one I found is ICT Billet makes ones to go here. I just find a hard time giving $30 for a metal aluminum ring that bolts through here when I can cut something out of a piece of metal myself. Be honest, I'll probably cut something out of this exhaust tip and press it flat between two pieces of wood and sit down and cut it out, clean it up, make something out of that. Or I got two 4x8 sheets of diamond plate. It's like 0.62 thickness that I bought to do the bed cover. I might cut it out of that. I don't know. My son says don't do diamond plate on the bed because it'll blind everybody. I was going to do the dash out of diamond. I love diamond plate aluminum. I love it. I like the industrial look and polished. I was going to do the dash for the exception it would blind the living shit out of you. But, you know, I was going to make an aluminum core support for this and fill it in with diamond plate. Aluminum, thin aluminum. I was going to do the inner fenders, but we cut all that out to clear the turbos. So, and that's the only thing I did. I did cut this out way too much. I cut both sides out for the turbos to clear. And I've cut the cross member for the oil pan I didn't hack the firewall up. I don't think I've shown this. This engine slid all the way back in the mounts. And I've got 2 inches of room behind this head. And I got about 1 inch or so on that one because the firewall kicks out over there. And I didn't move that back. The only thing I did here is where that lip was for where the heater box, it kind of like protruded out a little bit. I just bent that back and then welded a piece in. So, but there's stuff that's going to get done to it. I've got drop spindles, but I'm not going to put them on it. I've got some lower control arms, tubulars from Spawn Engineering to go on it yet. And I got everything to change it to a coilover in the front end. Whether I do it or not, I don't know. It literally still has the 2.2 springs in the front end of it. The back's dropped 4 inches. It's got Western chassis drop springs, cow tracks, and just a disc brake 8.8 with 35 spline guts and shit in it. It's a posi. It's not a mini spool or full spool. It's got a posi because I drive it on the street. I had a mini spool in the first 10 bolt, the second 10 bolt, and the third 10 bolt. And that's in a lot of the videos. You don't even realize the whole time I had the iron-headed motor in here, I destroyed 4 10 bolts, and then I cut a 8.8 down, put under it. Had a mini spool, had a 410 gear and everything. And I could have kept it, but I needed a different gear for the turbos. So now it's got a beefed up, build up 8.8 that we had cut down out of a 98 Explorer and braced the outside of it and everything. And it's got a 355 gear in it. It's all Yukon chromoly axles because they were cheaper at the time. It's got motive gears, I think, in it. It's got a Yukon center section. So, and Accurate Performance in Kansas City, Kansas put it all together for me. He built the rear end. Trans cooler, oil cooler. I got the oil cooler cooling the oil before it goes to the turbos. It's got a 19-row plate and fin cooler down there to cool it before it goes to turbos. Those cooler things up here, if I don't need them, I'm not going to use them. I told my boy he can have them. Where are they at? They're back here. He can have them. And I just took a 24-inch pipe, cut it in half. I rolled a bead. I bought one of them little tools that the guy makes out of a pair of vice grips you can buy online. They work really well. And just rolled a bead. As you can see, it's right there on both sides. You can barely see it on this side. But these boost pipes are up in here, like way up in there, so they're not going nowhere. And it centered everything up. We're running gate pressure, I've said that before, at about 4 pounds per wastegate. So it's on 8 pounds till the gates come open, which I could probably push past the gates if I wanted to. But, you know, it's took a lot of money to get to this point. A lot of money. A lot of money. And as much as I've got in the long block here in the transmission, there's that much just in all the crap that's going around it. There's $1,000 in AN fittings on this thing. I'll guarantee there's every bit of $1,000. Just the green ones was $700 some dollars. I looked like $712 when I ordered all of them in color fittings. There's some Evil Energy fittings in here, which they work real good. There's some actual Evil Energy line right here, and I'm running -6 for boost reference to my block because it's easier just to take this loose than it is the push lock right there. You'll end up wearing it out, taking it off and on. And then, but all the other hoses Vibrant. Vibrant makes some good stuff, you know. I tried to stay with made in USA stuff, but I think Vibrant's actually made in Canada. I ain't for sure. All the gauges are Autometer or Quick Car. All the ignition is MSD, but the wires are Moroso. The plugs are NGK, Platinum, Race Series. Turbos and gates and all that's VS Racing. That dude that owns the variant, that dude is just awesome to talk to. Awesome to talk to, too. He's another good dude. I had questions. I bought all my stuff straight from them. So, but we hope to get it out here in the next couple days, everybody, and see what it'll do. You know, I've got 2 AFR gauges I can watch, so I just don't want to hurt nothing. It took a long time to get here, and there is way better parts in this engine than it ever needed. I mean, way better parts than it ever would have needed. But I've always been known for overkill. You know, like my granddad used to say, you build shit like them old tractors back in the day, the old Masseys and Farmalls and everything, where they built them 50 times heavier than they needed to be. That's why they last. So, old Oliver tractors, mini Molines and all that. But, hey everybody, I just kind of wanted to share that. As soon as it gets here, we'll switch this out. And I already know who to know. Guys, I know you said something in the comments, and everybody out there, y'all guys are all deserving. But there's one particular young man that I'm going to mail this to. And they'll probably say something in the video, but it's probably going to be every bit of a couple months before I switch this out. You know, he told me about a 9 to 10 week wait on my carburetor, so he told me he had 43 people ahead of me. So, anyway, as soon as it gets here, but other than that, we'll play with this and drive it around, and as long as I ain't hurting it, we'll raise a little hell with it. Everybody, God bless, take care, stay safe, and keep putting the videos up. Keep working. We can't let them take this kind of stuff away from us. I'll be back when we start making noise and I get it out those 2 crappy doors over there. Later.